And yet another week where it doesn't freeze. Is it still just lulling us into a false sense of security? I almost miss the days when it used to. But anyway, it is what it is. And what it is Friday. And specifically, it's beer o'clock. Cheers, everyone. Once again, I was unable to get my chosen Heineken, so it's the Carlsberg export again for me this week. I don't mind it, actually. It's perhaps a tad smoother than the Heineken, which is a little bit more dangerous because it goes down with a little bit more of a honeyed silk kind of feeling. But which often means that things can get a bit messy later on. But least said about that, the better. It's Friday. It's been a long old week this week. The hours I've put in. It's I'm trying to get all of the little kind of bits and pieces done that I need to get done before I kind of go radio silence for Christmas. And it means that, things are a little bit full on at the moment. But I actually had a day off in the diary today, and I couldn't sort of handle it. It was like, what am I going to do? So I ended up writing a blog post, which some of you have already read. Yes, that's another thing I'm doing for the Tier 2 Patreon members. In case I haven't mentioned that already in various videos, you get extra video content on the Patreon platform and a twice monthly hangout with me and the other Tier 2 people. And now there's going to be a weekly blog post, and Mr. Chris is saying, big jump a day, John. Yes, it is, because it's I have got a heater in here, but it makes a hell of a racket, so I decided to go for the slightly more cost effective and silent way of keeping warm. Anyway, let's have a look and see who's in and who was first in. Dave Fiendish, first in. So forgive my absence last week. However, cheers. It looks like Dave's already on the beer. Then we got Johnny Random, Rubbish Guitar Blog, Peter Nicholson, Boulder 64, Terry Day, and who else? Fiend Tunes is in. So is Grandpa Joe. In a sunny and brisk New York City, wishing all you Fatcasters a happy and safe weekend. And please consider John's Tier 2 Patreon. Guarantee you'll enjoy it. Well, thank you, Joe. I thought I'd give it a plug myself this week, and you beat me to it. Always appreciate the shout-outs there, Joe. Thank you so much. Then we've got Stephen Hedger, Mark Kerno, and who else? Let's have a wee look. We've got Anton. Nice to see you, mate. Dr. Gomez is in, and so is Malcolm Spillett. Might not be here later as we're waiting for the doctor who's coming to see my wife. Fingers crossed that whatever ails your lovely wife, Malcolm, it's something that is... she's going to get well soon from, but please give it all of our best wishes, and you just go and be with your missus if you need to, mate. Then we've got Cylon Hybrid, Malcolm Thompson, Peter Collins, David James, Joe McMurray, and Paul Taylor. There's John Ross, Frank Bolam, Rent to Kill, who's got a new job, so sadly we'll miss the live. Hope everyone has a lovely weekend. Well, you just got to put your job first, though, mate. You can always watch on catch up and have a beer then, can't you? In fact, I insist that you do. Watch on catch up if you want, but I insist that you have a beer. Anyway, we've got Nathan, we've got Paul Trainer, BSc, no less. The resident bass player. Cushman NYC and Robert Forsyth is in. So is Johnny D, Jack Collins, and session guitar legend Gary Shaw. We've also got Austin Barrett, Ian Clark from Chile, Sussex. It is a bit chilly up here. It's what my dad... I've never understood why I understand this. Did your dad ever have any of these things? But on a kind of chilly day where there was a lazy wind, as he would call it, because it would go straight through you, it couldn't be bothered going round. But he would always say, if it was really cold, he'd say, "Hey lad, it's a bit thin." I don't know why I understand what that means, but I do. Then we've got Edwin Toonan from Amsterdam, no less. There's David Evans, and have I said Ian Clark? Yes, I just did, didn't I? Ben Allmark, Strumming Ronin, and Cal B and the Rocco Cat from a damp and chilly Montreal. Robert Forsyth is saying Berhud Sapka, please enlighten me. That one's gone well over my head, mate. Chris Otterwell is in, and who else have we got? Let's Journey of Discovery. There's Thomas Mulvaney and William Forrest, and Jimmy James, no less. J. Ao Young, a regular in this parish, is there as well. And there's Pablo Hank, and saying that another guitar shop bites the dust. JG Windows in Newcastle shut its doors yesterday and has gone into liquidation. Sad day. Bought my, I think you meant to say Strat, but it came out to start. Bought my Strat and acoustic there. Yeah, it is. I mean, that's just one of those iconic Northeast England institutions, JG Windows. I've been in there once myself, and proper old school, as I remember it, music shop. That it was a sort of place where if you played trumpet in the school band, you could go and buy your kind of trumpet from there, and that kind of stuff. But it probably changed massively in the intervening years, but. The thing is, we look back with misty-eyed nostalgia at the glory days of when these great music shops were around, but then we go and vote with our wallets by buying online. So I think if we're looking for, and I'm guilty of this, I think if we're looking for, the reason for it, we just need to look in the mirror, really. It's called progress. It has, some regrettable consequences. But, it is what it is. Anyway, before we get too maudlin and such like, let's crack on. I see we've got Colin Falcon and Mr. Chris 5254 and my pal Steve Cassidy is in. Don't forget Steve's video straight after this one tonight, 6 p.m. UK time. And if you haven't seen enough of this ugly mug, you're going to be seeing some more of it during Steve's video, because it's sort of a three-way kind of round table between myself, Steve, and another chap called John Wines, who is probably best known for his YouTube channel, but also he was the old grey guitarist on America's Got Talent. So there's a claim to fame. Anyway, we all got together a little while ago, had a Zoom call, and it's going out on Steve's channel. So interesting discussion. If I can remember most of it, and just a great hang with the two guys. So definitely worth going and watching. So check that out straight after this live stream. Then who else have we got? We've got Dave Snack Stevens, still at work in the Big Smoke. That's London for people outside the UK. Heading home to Dorset later this evening. Yes, it's late finish for you, is it, mate? Then who else we got? We're Triple Distilled and Brad Dowell and John Channing and Bill Mumbo is in. So is Phil Leatham, James Faulkner, Robbie F and Jonah Cornish. There's David Cairns, Peter Williamson, and who else? Let's have a wee look. Graham Campbell and Michael Purcell are in. So is Chris Otterwell, Strumming Ronin. I've said you already, haven't I? And I think that might be everyone. Andy Binns is in, Nick Shaw, Neil Roberts, Michael Belliveau, John Mack, all the latecomers, Adrian Laws, Danny Fisher, Grumpy Horse is in, and so is Mississippi Blues. There's Johnny D, and I've just got a super chat there from Paul Trainer. Thank you so much, mate. I will make sure that gets spent wisely on beer. And anyone else? Anyone's Dudley Squat, and I think that might just be about everyone. Peter Goddard. Scrolling down, I think that is pretty much everybody. We got last in there. We've got Peter Hall and is that Martian Murray or Martin Murray? I do apologise. I think that's spelt Martian. We even have Martians watching the show, or at least one. Anyway, I say have I got another super chat there? Oh, Paul Trainor, you've super chatted me twice, mate. Thank you so much. There was no need to do that. Thank you. There's the first super chat. All the good cause. Cheers. And there's Edwin Toonan as well. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm blown away by your kind of ongoing generosity. You know, kind of throwing me money in my beer jar. Speaking of which, I've got some catching up to do, it seems. Let's do that. Oh, Paul Trainor, again, for a woolly hat and mittens, all the best, John. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Paul Taylor. I beg your pardon. Paul Trainor and Paul Taylor. Yes. I need a new set of these, don't I? Thank you so much, mate. Very, very generous of you. Yes. Anyway, that's that over with. Let's get all the housekeeping out with all the stuff that is usually done around about this sort of time. Tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. It's yes, I'm just looking at the list here. Gosh, it's a packed week this week. Sunday's video is well, it's actually a year ago today, November the 29th, 2023. I had my little accident, shall we say, a broken finger and a detached tendon. And today marks a year to the day since that happened. And I've made a couple of videos about the sort of recovery process and recuperation. But I just thought it would be fitting to do a video as close to the date as possible, which is Sunday, just kind of drawing a line under it, wrapping it all up and telling you how things are now, because there has been some some developments since the last video I made, mainly the well, you can watch in the video on Sunday, but you know, it's as healed as it's ever going to be now. So I thought, you know, a year on it would be a good time to draw a line under it. And there's the usual kind of piece of music with the tabs and all that sort of stuff that I do. So that is Sunday's video. Then Monday is solo analysis. What would Mondays be without the solo analysis? Can you think of a band? Anton, yes, for a crocheted blanket to put on your lap. Thank you so much, mate. We do have central heating in this house. I must confess. You know, it's just that this room. What happens is the wife puts the heater on, like the fire on, let's call it, in the front room downstairs. So that raises the temperature in there to the point where the central heating thermostat goes, oh, it's warm enough now, and shuts it off all around the rest of the house, which was why this room can get a little bit chilly. As I say, I'll just point the camera over there. On the workbench there, you can see there's a heat. You can also see the amount of junk that I've got to get tidied away before Christmas. But it makes a hell of a racket. But yes, anyway, where was it? Yes, Monday's solo analysis. Can you think of a band from the early 1980s who were part of that whole rockabilly, kind of craze that swept the nation back then? And this band, and I've checked, these figures are accurate, this band were bigger than the Stray Cats in the UK. The Stray Cats basically had three big hits. They had Runaway Boys, they had Rock This Town, and they had Stray Cat Strut. And then it seemed to sort of dwindle after that. They certainly didn't trouble the top 40 much after those three. But this band had at least double that amount of big hits, and they were a British homegrown rockabilly band. So who might that be? And I see that Stevie Barr has got it in one. There we go. Yes, it is Matchbox. They are indeed the topic of Monday's solo analysis. And I just see somebody's Kevin Davis is saying, hello John, what strings do you use? Mentioned it a couple of years ago. I think you got them from Strings Direct. I did used to use legacy strings from Strings Direct, but the short version is that I did a bit of kind of trading with a couple of PRS guitars with gear for music. It's how I ended up with this guitar here. And the reason I got such a good price for the guitar that I traded in was because I accepted store credit rather than cash. So I bought like essentially a container load of Ernie Ball 9-42 Super Slinkies. So that's what I'm using at the moment. And I see there's a lot of Mr. Chris 5254 saying, sounds like the bushes have worn on your heater. Could well be, mate, but it just keeps me warm. Yeah, anyway, it's Matchbox, the Monday solo analysis. Then Tuesday's video, one that was suggested on this very live stream right here. Top 5 replacement band members. 5 bands that got markedly better when an original or an existing member of the band left or was replaced, and the replacement just enhanced the band and kind of made them the band that you think of them as, if you know what I mean. So that's what Tuesday's video is all about. Then Wednesday, another songwriting chord sequencey kind of lesson style video. This time we are looking at as Nigel Tufnell might have almost put it, the saddest of all modes. We're talking about the Aeolian mode on Wednesday, how to use it, what it is, how to write with it, how to play over the top of it, and all that kind of stuff. So that is Wednesday's video. Then Thursday, an unboxing video. It wasn't a video I was planning to do on that day. I was planning to make a video about, well, something else. And I had some of that video already kind of planned out and scripted, as much as I script any of my videos, which is usually just like kind of this pad here with a list of bullet points that I go through. And then I got a rather nice surprise because the doorbell rang and it was the nice parcel force man with a guitar-shaped box. The wife immediately said, "What have you bought?" And I said, "Nothing." But basically I got an unexpected gift on well, a few weeks ago when I made the video, basically. So I did an unboxing video, and that is what is coming up on Thursday. And then after Thursday, we're back on the beer again because it's Friday. Speaking of which, I just need to recharge my glass with another flagon of ale and just have a little bit of a look at my list. I had a massive list written out of stuff that I needed to talk about last week, and I missed half of it off because I was too busy kind of gossiping, basically. Everybody get ready to type the word flake because this is going to be a bit of a lively one, I imagine. Yes, it is the thing with Carlsberg, especially this export brew, is that it is a bit of a lively pour. I'm just going to let that settle for a bit. So everybody type flake. No, oh, Neil Roberts has typed flake. Yes. Let's talk about Agrajag guitars, shall we? As you may have seen on the community tab, I had a really nice kind of about 45-minute chat with James from Agrajag on Zoom the other day and recorded it, and it's basically all of the questions that you chaps have asked me to put to James, the wonderful luthier at Agrajag Guitars. That video will be going out on I think it's Thursday the 19th of December, because that's how sort of far in front I am with video. Well, I've actually got all of this year's videos done. I'm actually working on videos for January at the moment. But yeah, Thursday 19th of December is when you can sort of tune in and watch me chewing the fat with James and asking him all of the questions that you put to him in a previous community post. But he is tantalizingly close to reaching the target for his raffle. Let me just go on, because I think it's live on the site. And we can take a little bit of a look Where is it? Charity raffle, charity guitar raffle. Okay, yes. Amount raised as of 28th of the 11th, 24. So that was yesterday. Is £1,909. Let me put this up on screen so you can see it. So the goal that he's looking for is a nice round £2,000 that will be going to, of course, Zoe's Place Baby Hospice. And the prize, as you know, is this wonderful Agrajag Corvus guitar. And as of yesterday, the total raised is 1909. Our goal is £2,000. And when he reaches that goal, what's going to happen is he's going to come and join me on the live stream and we'll draw the raffle. So that should be something to look forward to. Looks like it's going to probably be at that rate next week. So you might just be seeing James here in the room next week. I don't know if he's actually talking about coming here or doing it via Zoom or whatever, or joining on the live stream. But we will be drawing the raffle on the live stream. So I want to say a massive thank you to James for taking time out of his busy day to do that interview with me. When was it? I think that was Tuesday. Or was it Tuesday or Wednesday? I can't remember. It was one day this week. And a massive thank you to everybody who's supported the raffle to raise funds for Zoe's Place. I've still got my fundraiser going to purchase the Fender Ultra 2 Stratocaster, which I want to do a comparison with against that classic vibe over there. That should be a fun one to do, but I've sort of kept that on the low down, on the down low. I parked it basically until after Christmas. Let's get that out of the way. I'm in no rush, and I didn't really want to tread on James's toes raising money for that raffle because he kind of got there first. Anyway, yes, the other big news I want to tell you about, I'll get back to the live chat in a second, is that my third book, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, is finished. Kind of. Okay, as you know, I've done, well, you see it on the beginning of all the videos, the Blues Guitar Bible and Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist. I thought I had a third one in me, and it turns out I have. How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar. The text is done, it's finished, it's proofread, it's sorted. All I've got to do now is go and record all of the jam tracks that go along with it. Film and record all of the video examples that go along with it, and do all the tabs that go along with it. So it's looking doubtful it's going to be finished completely by the end of the year because I've just got such a hectic schedule. What I need to do is just book a complete week off from lessons and YouTube and everything, and just block that out in the diary and just kind of hit it with everything I've got. But as I say, things are a bit hectic. Though I say take a week off from YouTube, that won't mean that there'll be a week's gap in my YouTube output. What it basically means is get a week's worth of YouTube video, an extra week's worth of YouTube videos in the can, so that I can take a week off from making them, and there'll be no interruption. So there you go. Yes, I mentioned Steve Cassidy earlier. His video going out straight after this here. I also want to give a shout out to Searching for Tone, great young new channel. He usually does a live stream on a Wednesday. He calls it the Hump Day Hang. So go and check him out. If you've never heard of Searching for Tone, then he puts out some really good content, giveaways and stuff like that, and reviews, and just interesting guitar themed channels. So go and check him out. And then of course, don't forget our old mate Johnny Budget Guitar Show. His live stream usually on a Sunday. I think that's 6:30, isn't it? Right, I've got through my list. There we go. I can talk about. I can kind of talk to you all now. There's Gordo Canuck. Let's scroll back up to the chat. And I've woke this computer up. Excuse me. I just need to shut it down again. I nudged the mouse. Yes, go to sleep. Hang on a sec. Oh, right, it's gone to sleep. It just took a while. Never mind the flake. Where's the ice cream scoop? Cherry on top, flake. Yes, that's it. Was a bit of a lively pour, wasn't it? Oh dear, but it is nice. Let's have a look. Trying to catch up with where I was. Andy Binns is saying Dave Gilmour joining Pink Floyd. That may be one of my top 5 replacements. It might well be. Cal B and the Rocco Cat saying, is Aeolian alien? Well, modes are alien to a lot of people, so I'm on a mission to change that. What else have I missed? A lot of people saying flake cherry on top, chocolate candy bar. Good God, John, says Mark Colonel. Super flake. Yes, okay, my beer pouring skill. You wouldn't believe I've worked behind the bar in my life, have you? Where are we? Colin Faulkner saying, if you still have to Heineken, both Tesco's and B&M have some. Yeah, I know, but it's just that means a trip out the door, doesn't it? Whereas we get our groceries delivered on a Tuesday from Morrison's. And once again, Morrison's substituted this. I did kick off one week when I'd ordered Heineken and they substituted it for Carling Black Label. I said, you can take that back. And the delivery driver says, yeah, I wouldn't drink that piss either. Oh, excuse me. That's literally what he said. Anyway, where are we? Johnny D saying, what the WTAF? I nearly swore again there. I got an email from eBay. Would I like to make an offer of 10,235 for an original Clon Centaur? I obviously asked them to put me down for 2. Yeah, there's that sort of hoo-ha at the moment, isn't there, about Behringer have produced a clone and called it the Centaur. And it's like, if you kind of do that and half close your eyes, it looks like one of the originals. But, well, I mean, I've got a clone here, which, it's obviously it's not even pretending to be. I might just dig this one out again and just kind of use it and do there's a video to do, actually, because I've sort of gone to using the Blue Guitar Amp 1 on one of its boosted channels rather than using the new X Horseman. But I see a comparison video coming on. Anyway, but yes, the Behringer clone. Some people think it's a little bit cheeky, but I don't know. If I was, I don't know. I find it difficult to have an opinion on something I don't care about. Peter Hall saying 10-pole Tudor. No, there's a blast from the past. Yes, again, another one-hit one. Well, they had 2, didn't they? Swords of a Thousand Men and Wunderbar. But who remembers Wunderbar? Let's have a look. What else have I missed? Hi, John. Did you see that 3,000 counterfeit Gibson guitars were seized at Los Angeles Long Beach seaport? I didn't see that, mate, but it's I mean, Gibson as a company come in for a lot of flack, and in many cases deservedly so, I think. My number one guitar at the moment is a Gibson, so I'll just get that out there as a kind of disclaimer. But that doesn't mean that I approve of everything that Gibson do regarding, kind of suing smaller guitar companies. If we can't beat you, in the market, we'll sue you to put you out of business. Seems to be allegedly their business model. But if somebody is just making forgeries of your product, then I've got to side, although it pains me to say so, I've got to side with Gibson. I think what you've got to do with brands like that is you've got to separate what you think about the current management from what you think about the brand and all of its history over decades and decades. That's how I square the circle of, playing a Gibson guitar, at least. Anyway, right. What else have we got? Where are we? David Evans is saying, John, will your books be available in hard copy at all? No, I did think about that, but the books are interactive. Okay, every couple of paragraphs, there's kind of a link that you need to click on to see a video demonstration or to get a backing track or something like that. So the only way that would work in hard copy is if there was an accompanying DVD or accompanying kind of physical media, which suddenly makes it very expensive. It has been said, well, yes, but then why not just put a QR code on there? Well, the problem with a QR code is that it's easy enough to scan a QR code with your phone, and get the digital media that way. But then you've got a backing track on your phone, you've got a video on your phone, and then you could cast it or kind of transfer it onto something with, shall we say, slightly better video quality and audio quality than a mobile phone. But it's an extra faff about. It's an extra step. The way I've decided to keep it is just keep it as a PDF, and then you can view it on whatever device suits you. You can view it on a computer with decent, kind of monitor speakers, or you can view it, I suppose, even on a smart TV. So no, it's not going to be available in hard copy. I'm just going to catch up with a live chat, and then we'll head off over to see what pictures of guitars we've got to look at this week. Let's have a wee look. Anton saying the Behringer Centaur is only £59 in Gear for Music pre-order. I might check one out. I might do, but it's not high on my list of priorities. I've got to tell you that for logistical reasons, for the way I'm set up in here, pedal videos or pedal-based videos are not the easiest thing for me to do, because you've got to have a camera on me and you've got to have a camera on the pedal, and and then I've got to synchronize the audio from this with the audio from the camera that's on the pedal with the audio that's going into when I'm going to be recording on that PC over there. And normally I can do at least a couple of videos a day in between lessons. I can spend sometimes 2 days just doing one video if it's about a pedal. So that's why I don't tend to do a lot of pedal-based videos, because they're a massive faff around, and you only need to kind of make one blooper or something like that, and you've got to set up all over again. And it's just, so we'll see. I might do something. Paul Taylor's saying, just ordered a Tone X1, 118 quid. Any experience, John? Well, I did a video a couple of months ago when the Tone X1 first came out about why I wouldn't be reviewing it. So no, I don't have any experience. The short version of why I won't be reviewing it is because I'm basically just not interested in it. All of these hundreds and thousands of different guitar tones that that just screams option anxiety to me. And anytime I've got to hook up any piece of any pedal or anything like that to a computer and scroll through menus, and I just really can't be bothered. It's not something that I'm interested in. And one thing that I've found is that if you make videos on topics that you're not really interested in, those videos never seem to do very well. and it's a waste of effort and a waste of money because I wouldn't be interested in owning the pedal anyway. So that's that's that one. Anyway, shall we head off over and see what is the random selection this week of guitar and gear related pictures that have been sent in by you good chaps. I will just say before we look at these, if you've got any pictures of your guitars, if you've got any, it doesn't have to be guitars, it can be anything. It can be your pedal board, it can be any part of your rig, anything which you use to make music with, of a guitar related nature, then send the pictures in to me. JR Guitar Tuition, JR because those are my initials, Guitar Tuition because that's what I do for a living, JR Guitar Tuition, all one word, at gmail.com. Send me the pictures and they may just end up getting shown on a Friday evening like this. So let's go to the screen share, and I need to select this and this. This is Andrew, I'm not sure, is it Andrew Payton or Andrew Patton? This is his 4x12 Marshall cab, which, unless Marshall have started jumping on the relicking bandwagon, this looks like it seems to have had a hard life. It's pre-loved. It's seen some action. It's fair to be said, but apparently it is still in use, making a loud noise, entertaining audiences. And this one here, this one came in today. Just a random selection, really, that goes on. This is Chris Snowden's Harley Benton JA60. Which is just looking at the designation there, JA60 OW Olympic White left hand. And as I said to Chris when he sent the picture in, there's something about a left-handed offset fender shape that it suddenly looks the right way around. I think that's the thing I have. That maybe the problem I have with offset guitars is that they look, as my old mum used to say, they look cuddy-handed. They look the wrong way around, But a lefty one like that, if the control panels were, I don't know if you can see my mouse point when I'm sharing screen, but I'll assume you can. If the controls were down here, that would look like it was a slightly unorthodox but relatively attractive-looking right-handed guitar. Anyway, what we got now? We've got from Dr. Gomez once again. This is his Harley Benton Les Paul Jr. Replaced the wraparound bridge and added a Lola pickup. That's going to be a beast of a guitar, isn't it? It's that's the great thing about Harley Benton's great modding platforms, and with a single pickup junior like that, there's you don't have to do a lot of modding before you elevate it to something of a higher echelon, shall we say. Another one from Dr. Gomez. If it wasn't for the Floyd Rose, that would be a guitar I was lusting. I don't like Floyd Roses. Talking about that, in that upcoming interview I've got with James from Agrajag, he might have got to the bottom of why I have a bit of a Floyd Rose phobia. But I do like the Ernie Ball Music Man Axis Super Sport, which is the one with just a non-locking trem. Lovely looking guitars, I have to say. It's one of the few guitar designs that came out at some point. When was this? In the 90s, when it was the Music Man Eddie Van Halen model, before he took his custom elsewhere. It was one of the few kind of genuinely new guitar shapes that looked immediately familiar and like somehow right. And I stand by that. It's just, I think it's one of the classic guitar body shapes. Then we've got Ian Cochrane's Universal Audio rig. What have we got on here then? We've got some kind of effect switching system here, so we can switch pedals in and out. We've got essentially an AC30 in a box, a twin reverb in a box, and a JCM 800, I believe, in a box, or a Plexi, I should say. Then nice little bit of ambient reverb there. What's this one here? This is the Ox Stomp. That's all full of different IRs and stuff. We've got a Dumble pedal down here. a nice little. I actually saw the guy from the studio that's demoing one of these today. This compressor pedal, and what we got here. This looks like, is this some? Oh, it's a modulation. So very, very versatile little rig that. Just go straight out to a PA, and you've got AC30, Fender, Marshall, and Dumble, and all kinds of stuff on tap there. Yes, that would be again, option anxiety, I think, would kick in for me if I had a board like that. But anyway, moving on. This one comes from Len McIver. We've seen this 335 before on the live stream. That is Len McIver's lovely Gibson 335. But since the last time we saw it, it's sprouted a Duesenberg trem. So he thought he'd update us with another picture of it. One of my students, it's got to be 6 years, because it was, well, let's say 5 years ago, because it was pre the whole lockdown thing. He put one of those Duesenberg trems on a Harley Benton SG copy, and the tuning stability was like really properly good. He didn't replace the bridge saddles or anything. He just kind of bolted it on, and it worked. I mean, you couldn't kind of do Floyd Rose sort of stuff with it, but for sort of Hank Marvin-y kind of Dwayne Eddy kind of wobbles, it was absolutely spot on. More Len McIver guitars. These are his Yamaha twins. Beautiful 6-string there, and a really nice looking 12-string. You can't go wrong with a Yamaha, can you? It has to be said. Solid, dependable, very, very reasonably priced, and they're bulletproof. Absolutely fantastic. Some from Mr. Bald here, Rob Bald, Balder64 as he's in the chat. His Epiphone, that looks like the Epiphone 59. That might have even been the one that I had me greasy little mitts on at one point. I think Rob is something of a Les Paul guy, can you tell? And a lovely Harley Benton SC550 there. I think that is is that the EMG one? I don't know. He did say in an email, but yes, Rob is obviously a fan of his single cuts. And there's some more of Rob's guitars, a couple of Rev Stars. I like the look of this one. I really do. I got to tell you, the Bigsby and the the Filtertron-esque pickups, and that sort of washed out burst finish. Nice looking guitar. Just sort of is it vintage or is it modern or is it somewhere in between? And then of course this P91 here. Beautiful. I mean, again, Yamaha. Find me a bad review of one. Find me anybody that's got a bad experience of a Yamaha guitar. They just don't exist. Anyway, I believe that is the Reader's Wives section for this week. I need a beer after that. And we'll have a little bit more blether about what's in the chat. And then we'll go to the other relatively new section of the show that I've got for you, which is Viewers' Tales. So just as I'm pouring the beer, hopefully this one will be a little bit more cooperative. I'm being a bit more careful here, so excuse me if my eloquence is somewhat diminished as I'm pouring here. This one might just be a little bit less lively. So you get better with practice, don't you? No, that's not bad. That's not a bad pour. You can't fault me on that one, lads, can you? I mean, that's an acceptable head on a pint, I've got to tell you. Yes, anyway, if you have any stories, if you have any rock and roll or brushes with fame kind of stories, then send them in. I don't care that they might not be, let's say, 100% true. I mean, what was it? Our late Queen said that, recollections may vary. As long as it's entertaining and it's got a kernel of truth in it, then send them in to me. Same address as before, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. Let me just have a look and see which ones we've got for you this evening. Let's have a wee look. Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one tonight. This one comes from Jamal, and it details a particular faux pas that he unfortunately committed at one point. So we'll have a look at that in a moment, right after I've caught up with the chat. Where are we? Victory House is saying, hi everyone, check out the Gardner Holgate guitar auction coming up. Lots of cool stuff, including Gary Moore. Okay, right, well, yeah, Gardner Holgate, are they the only people who auction guitars? Because it seems that, whenever there's any famous guitar up for grabs or guitar collection, it's always them, isn't it? I'll probably have a little bit of a look at that at some point while wifey's watching Coronation Farm or EastEnders Street later. Strumming Roman saying, not for me, re the trim on the 335. Yeah, I would never do it myself. But then again, that's just, I don't object to a trem being on a guitar, but if it's there, I tend to ignore it most of the time. It's nice for the odd little kind of Hank Marvin kind of thing. But, I used to play in a band years ago where the guy was a bit of a tremolo addict. He was your typical, kind of poodle permed, pointy headstock. I think, what guitars did he have? He had a Jackson and something else with a pointy headstock and a Floyd Rose and a silly pain finish, basically. And he just used to live on the tremolo bar all the time, to the point where the band had to have a word with him. It's like, can you just not do that as much? Because it just literally sounds like everything you're playing sounds like a warped record. Yeah, so, I mean, I've got to tell you that the trem on this guitar here, PRS trems, as soon as Paul Reed Smith had invented this trem, it's like, well, why do Floyd Rose trems still exist? Because that there is absolutely bomb-proof. You could pretty much jump up and down on it, not that I'm going to try, and it will not go out of tune. With a little bit of help from, some judicious lubrication and, what PRS nuts made out of? Is it Teflon or something? I don't know, but, what I'm saying is I'm not a big fan of trems, but when you say I'm not a big fan of it, makes it sound like that you object to them in some way. I don't, but it's just not something that I make a lot of use of. I don't exploit them to their full potential. So I wouldn't be putting one onto a Gibson or any other kind of fixed bridge guitar. But if it's there, all I insist is that it works. John Mack saying, I agree with you, John. You can't beat the PRS trem. Peter Nicholson saying, used to play a lot of shadows, but stopped using the bar and use string bends. That's, are we having some problem buffering, by the way, chaps? I'm seeing that there's some people saying that the stream restarted or something. Colin Falcon, anyone else sick of the avalanche of Black Friday emails yet? Yes, I'll put my hand up for that one, mate. Where are we? I see we've got Rico B in from sunny Arizona. It's morning there, so you can't have a beer yet. Or maybe you can. Maybe you're the kind of guy who has a... no buffering here, says Anton. Mr. Chris is off because his dinner's ready. Mr. Chris, if you can hang around a second or two more, I've got a brilliant story for you. This one comes from Jamal. And it says, hi, John. How I upset Joe Strummer. I moved to Bristol at the end of 96 for a year to do my master's degree at 25 years old. I'd broken up with a long-term missus, so only had a bag of clothes, a Walkman and the White Album on tape. And I bought a Tanglewood guitar, Ovation copy, still have it. My mates and I in London have been doing some demos, which we finished off by sending a Tascam 4-track up and down the M4 in the days when Royal Mail could be relied upon. So I could sing my parts and send it back to them to track their parts and mix it down. This went on for a few weeks whilst I started my course. When it was finished, the guitarist and producer sent me the mix on a CD, but I didn't have a CD player. So I went over to a friend of my sister who was from Bristol to use hers and see what it sounded like. She knew a lot of people on the music scene there in the 80s and 90s, and we had a very open house. I was very excited, and I'd imbibed things I wouldn't in my dotage. There was a guy there. Looked very dodgy. Did not recognise him in any way. Asked if I could play him the CD. We all listened to it, and afterwards he said he really liked the guitar solo and my vocals. At this point I said, accounts vary what I actually said, but this is my recollection, "But you're just a dodgy git," jokingly, and he basically got up and left without another word to me, clearly annoyed. Don't know if he realised I didn't recognise him or just thought I was being a rude person. That one does cross that word there does cross the line for what I'll say on here. Probably the latter. After he'd gone, she told me who it was and showed me a picture. I was mortified. Yes, he'd just called Joe Strummer a rude Tango Whiskey Alpha Tango. That was the word I wasn't going to say out loud. That talk about missed opportunities. If you hadn't said that line, Jamal, you could have been invited into a studio and let's get the band in there and I'll kind of pass your demo on to some people that matter. Oh, dear me. Yes, if it wasn't for that, there you go. J. Aoyong saying, that SRV jazzy ballad sounds nice with a trem. I think you mean Riviera Paradise, don't you? One of my favourite all-time. Have I ever done a top 5 Stevie Ray Vaughan video? I might have done back in the mists of time, but it's certainly been long enough that I can revisit it. Because as I always say in these top 5 videos, it's this is my list this week. Or if I don't say it out loud, it's certainly implied. So it might be time to revisit that one. Yes. But Riviera Paradise, spoiler alert, will be on there. Mr. Chris, you stuck around for the story, did you? Go and get your dinner, mate. You must be Hank Marvin by now. Yeah, that's again rhyming slam, starving. Michael Purcell is saying, "See you next Tuesday" is a good word. Yeah, we used to have this thing when I had a brief stint on a local radio station. We used to say 48-inch reptile. That was the way we used to say it on air. Because what is a 48-inch reptile? It's a 4-foot snake. So you go, 4-foot snake. Like that, which would be kind of an acceptable way of doing it, but even that was kind of clamped down on. So, we just used to say 48-inch reptile. So there you go. So we've got Andy Milani in saying, "Evening, everyone." We glad that you could turn up and catch the end of it. But watch the rest of it on catch up. Where are we? Dr. Gomez 1. I don't understand why we have to have Christmas songs in November. I agree with you there. I mean, I love Christmas, but I just used to prefer it when it was in December. It seems like, as soon as... We used to have this big thing in the UK for all my non-UK viewers. We used to have this big thing, Guy Fawkes Night, Bonfire Night, when we used to burn an effigy of the bloke who tried to blow up Parliament hundreds of years ago. And fireworks and all that sort of stuff. And slowly but surely, we've sort of imported this kind of Americanized, I can't put it any other way, version of Halloween, we had Halloween, but it wasn't a big thing. But like Halloween now starts about the end of September. It was just like something that we used to do as a bit of fun at the end of October. And that sort of edged out the whole sort of Guy Fawkes Night tradition that we used to have in this country, which I think is sad that we, when long-standing traditions are abandoned, there's probably a longer discussion in that somewhere. But as soon as Halloween's out the way, all of the supermarkets, all of the high street stores, they just suddenly kind of you start seeing Christmas stuff in there. Even things like Christmas food that is past its sell-by date before Christmas, like mince pies and various other things. What they call those kind of chocolate cake loaf, panettone. That's it. That's something that's very recently arrived on these shores. We never used to have that, but it's a Christmas thing. Fair enough. But it's when you see in the middle of November a panettone that's on sale, and the best before date is something like the 1st of December. You start thinking, are you missing the point here somehow or other? But yes, anyway, I do agree with you. Yes, Christmas does start way too early. But then again, I've got to remember back to when I was a young wee whippersnapper. I remember my parents saying exactly the same thing. So maybe it's just it's how to tell when you're middle-aged, isn't it? That when you start saying Christmas starts too early, or Christmas is too commercialised, or whatever, that's when you know that you've joined the club of the middle-aged. But then again, some people say I was born middle-aged, and I couldn't really find much evidence to argue against that. Anyway, we've got 3 minutes left. Shall I down in one? I think I shall. There we go. You can tell it's Friday, can't you? Where are we? Strumming Roman saying, yes, Guy Fawkes is all but forgotten. All there is are pumpkins. Yeah, that was something else. We didn't used to have pumpkins for Halloween. We used to have, what we call in this part of the world, turnips. But elsewhere in the UK, they're called Swedes. And you try digging one of those out with a spoon to make your lantern. It could be done. Or what I used to do was borrow me dad's drill and just kind of route it out. And, there I was, 9 years old, playing with power tools, unsupervised. It was the 70s. If you lost a finger, it was your own fault. Right. We had turnip, says Jed Ellis. Malcolm Spillet's off. Give your best to your Mrs. Malcolm, and our best wishes and everything. And with that in mind, I've finished my beer, and Malcolm's off. Go and recharge your glasses, and go and watch Steve Cassidy's video straight after this. It's a premiere, so you can join in on the chat. I unfortunately won't be there because I've got to go and eat curry. Poor me. But I'll see you all on the next one, chaps. Thank you so much for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern bloke talk absolute cobblers for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.